Hello from Yerevan. This is the podcast Pigeon of Peace, where we do discuss awesome skills of troubleshooters. Watch, listen, and check the description down below to navigate through the questions. Let's talk about threats, and let's start with the definition.
Threats we usually learn after the risk skill. Risk, that's how to avoid something which is unwanted, for example, in business. If I'm not mistaken, risk, this is Scandinavian words, and it's mean like something hidden under the water, something like reefs. Правильно? Reefs that could destroy the ship. And so we will see the connection. Risk, which could be calculated. For example, risk of losing those money is something like this. Risk of unhappy end of the surgery is like this. Before risk, we have dangerous, опасности. Dangerous, this means that we know what will impact on us or other subject, and we should divide it to the risk. But before those dangerous is threats. Threats, this what will happen in a very common way. For example, we could think that maybe the meteorite would fallen, maybe our sun will switch off, maybe our city will be out of electricity, and this is threats. Is this dangerous for us? For example, if we will be out of electricity at the night, maybe it would interfere and we couldn't watch our movies, but all plants would work and all bread would be baked. So it's not a problem. But threats is a part of the chain we start looking when we think about risks.
And again, like I will try to probably flip a script slightly a little. So when we speak about the threats, if we try to recognize, and try to categorize everything that is going on with us, if we try to, profile people and see all of the threats, whether at certain point of view, we as the person, or we as the, company, or we as a group of people will become over paranoid. So other people will probably just, will think that we some sort of like a freaks or whatever. But whether overall the ability to, look into the environment and be able to distinguish threats is helpful, and at which point it may harm.
Maxim, if we will go to climb the mountains, for example, we'll go for 5,300 meters on Everest, we will calculate everything very carefully, and I will explain why we will take and what we will take. We will calculate even amount of matches. We will calculate how many cakes, I don't know how to say, сухари? Gallets.
Dry breads,
gallets or dry breads we will take. And for example, I was trying to go very far distance for North Pole, South Pole, and if you want, for example, to overcome like 1,000 kilometers by your legs, you should be very careful, and you should understand that there is probability that you would be killed by hunter. There are not so many hunters, but sometimes they try to hit something like a bear or some other animals to sell them on the black market. It is prohibited, but they will do. Also, you should understand that, for example, if you will lose 1 can of the spam, тушенка, spam. If you will lose 1 can of the spam, you should immediately go backward. You have no chance to be returned. And if you make everything correct, maybe you will make 2 expeditions. First expedition will go and you will dig some food. And on the second expedition, you would spend those food. But there are no other way to overcome huge distances. Or another example, I have been running through the, I don't know how to say, Big Victoria, the hugest desert on Australia land, and it is take like 80% of the country, and the average temperature was 56 by Celsius. So you should know how to overcome this, and you should know about all temperatures every 15 minutes. If you will not know, You, for example, could take like a canister with 10 liters of water, and you would spend them like for 20 kilometers, but you should run 200 kilometers. Or another example, I with a small group of guys, we were trying to overcome, I don't know, maybe it was Gobi desert in Mongolia, and we were trying to make them on the bikes, but suddenly all our bikes were stopped because of dust, and we have a lot of spare plans, so we know how to call and with whom speak and where the nearest nomads with those horses and so on were inhabited.
And again, like I will keep flipping the script and probably try to ask something slightly more different. At one of the skills, you said that everything will be going worse, like in whatever direction. So obviously, it may also mean that the number of threats to to humanity, to family, to business, or whatever, it will be keep decreasing. So one thing is to monitor, register, and like have a plan to mitigate them. But from another point of view, given that one side is growing, what should be happening with the receiving side? I mean, us, like how we should be looking at ourselves and like think how we should grow and like prepare for the future potential threats in order to at least keep this the score even.
Maxim, when you will hear something, you should try to apply it to your life. For example, you will hear that somebody was stabbed by knife, or someone would be killed by gun. You should understand that it also could happen to you or to your close one or loved one, and you should do something with this. For example, maybe you will meet them after the tube in London or subway in USA. Maybe you should call a taxi, even if it is expensive. I will give you an example. We were in Peru, this country in Latin America, and I was talking to my friends, and I told them, this is not my first time in Peru, and I will give you several advances. First, if you think that you are going blackout, you should ask someone on show that you need air. In all airports, they are in high mountains. There are some, I don't know how to say, balloons with oxygen, and you should use this. Do not be ashamed. It's quite normal. And second, there is a country where a lot of people will disappear because they would be taken as donors for the organs. It's okay to say?
Body parts.
Body parts, yes, to body parts. And suddenly at our gate, it came one person, and he was saying that our plane was delayed and we should go in the bus, and we will have a rest for some time in the village. And I shout to everyone, we don't move, we will stay here, we will stay the ground. And suddenly, after maybe 15 minutes, it was announced that our plane is going in usual way. I don't know, maybe there would be not disassembled by body part, but it also could be happen.
Well, then my last question will be how knowing about threats could help to make this world a better place.
If you think that everything very calm and you are surrounded by happiness, you will think that nothing will threaten you. But sometimes it could be hooligans, sometimes it could be weapons, sometimes it could be drugs, sometimes it would be unfriendly people, and it is very useful to know how to deal with them, to know the language to talk with gangs, to know the language how to talk with police. It's okay even to stay some time in the prison for the night. Yes, it's not comfortable, but in those cases you will have enough time to understand your mistakes.
And we review the skill of threats and how it could be helpful for you. Stay in peace.